All right, Michelle.
All right, well, good evening all. Welcome to the Salary Commission meeting being held Wednesday, November 8th, 2021. And I would like to call us to order and ask if the assistant clerk would please do a roll call.
I can do the roll call. I don't know if we didn't really discuss.
Oh, I
so
thought
I
Caitlin
will-
was
I will
with
go
us. I'm
ahead.
sorry.
You would think
No,
that
it's
would be
okay.
happening. I don't think we talked about that, Anya. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Dixie Bain,
Present.
Ford Poston,
Present.
Michelle Hampton,
I am here.
Katie Horde.
Present.
Awesome. And I will just say for the record that Carolyn Bennett has submitted her resignation of the Salary Commission effective immediately. So we will have a vacant position we will be recruiting for hopefully soon.
Okay, so that means right now we are the strength of 4, 3 being a quorum, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right, so for our first order of business is the approval of our October 2021 minutes. I presume everyone has them and has read them. Does anyone have any comments, additions, changes, modifications? I'm not seeing any. Okay, in that case, I need a motion from someone, please, to approve them as drafted.
I vote that we approve the minutes from the November 20th meeting as drafted.
Okay, and may I have a second, please?
I second that.
All right, is there any further discussion on the minutes from the October 20th meeting? All right, seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Was that, Katie, was that an aye or a nay?
Aye.
Okay, excellent. All right, the minutes are hereby approved. Thank you. All right, so our new business is to go back and talk some more about where we're at in terms of city council compensation. I think if my notes are correct and everyone's memory agrees with that, I think we pretty much agreed that the mayor will get the 5.67% cost of living increase, and that we did not need to have any further discussion on that. Does anyone have any other or different thoughts, or would you like to revisit that?
No.
No, Katie, Dixie? No.
Nope.
And Ford?
No, I would just reiterate one thing, though. I think the agreement we came to is that because we were meeting, we agreed to the increase, but that we would discuss any future increases instead of making them automatic, correct?
Yes, yes, absolutely right. I was only speaking for this year coming,
Okay.
for
Yep.
this year coming. Okay. All right, which leads us back to city council compensation and the discussion we were having around that. If you don't mind, I'm just going to take a moment here to say, last time I was very careful to avoid even the appearance of impropriety. We have now had the election for city council. I did not win, so I would not be in any type of conflict of interest. And I will now go ahead and fully participate in all conversation and voting. So I have some thoughts. If you're okay, I'd like to kind of tell you what they are.
Absolutely.
Is that
Sure.
okay if I go first? Okay, so yes, I did not win. No, this is not sour grapes, because if you go back over the last at least year, I've been saying the same thing. And what I've been saying is we have to be desperately careful about what we're doing, because we as a city are spending more money than we're taking in. And that is a prescription for disaster. And I was thinking a lot about where we were going last time with maybe upping the salaries significantly in light of looking at the comps. But the biggest driver of the comps was Arlington. And we have to understand that Arlington is a very different city from Lake Stevens, and they have got an absolute monster Amazon distribution center, which they're working 24/7 to get up and running. And once that happens, which will be in short order, their sales tax is going to probably quadruple because of that. We are not in a similar circumstance by any stretch. So I think letting the Arlington numbers, which have drastically increased, should not be driving what happens here in Lake Stevens, because we are in a very different circumstance. So having said that, generally speaking, when there's no money in the budget, you start by cutting your service. Now I'm not suggesting that we cut city council salaries, but I'm saying we need to be extremely cautious if we change them or increase them. Because when you run out of money, that's the first place you cut, is your people who have signed on for service. Remembering that I've been the one saying this all along, and had I been the one elected to the seat, I would say the same thing, having it apply to me. So those are some pieces of information to chew on, think on, and I welcome everybody else's comments and thoughts that you've had since we last met. So who wants to go next? Anybody? Don't all jump at once.
I'll go ahead and I guess kick it off.
Okay.
So a couple things. I know that one thing we talked about last time was getting rid of the, I think there was an $80 per meeting and just make that automatic. And what was the number? Did somebody have the exact number that would bring it to if we made that change?
I believe that would have put it at $884 a month instead of the $564.
$884?
Mhm.
Okay.
And that's just if we rolled the 4 meetings into the salary itself that's
Yeah.
current.
Okay. So I don't know if that was finalized, but I mean, I totally, Commissioner Hampton, I totally understand what you're saying, which is, hey, we're not, the comps are a good indicator, but they're also kind of different situations there to consider. And part of it, I always kind of look at these situations as how can we kind of break it down the middle and break a little bit both ways, meaning I totally understand the consideration for the budget. And if I remember correctly from the last meeting, you were saying there are some budgetary constraints, but they're out in the field. It's not immediate like 2021 or 2022. It's more like, unless there's a significant increase in revenue, we're looking like 2026 or something like that, correct?
Right.
So I'm trying to find out, I'd love to get other people's input here, but I kind of feel like breaking it down the middle somehow, which means, is there a way where I think my feeling is, let's get the number to a place, it doesn't have to be the highest, obviously, but to a place where people aren't being penalized because the numbers that were provided for the meetings that they're going to, it seems like it's a decent number. I mean, there's some travel and time involved, and I get it that they're not necessarily trying to come out ahead going to 50+ meetings a year, but it's nice to have a little extra for gas or whatever, that helps kind of soften the blow a little bit. So, I mean, I guess my feeling is, what number at least helps compensate some of that travel and time to some degree, but at the same time, maybe there's a consideration down the road that we review this in, say a year or two. And if we're definitely not on track to meet the numbers that we're proposing, that we roll them back maybe in 3 or 4 years. I think that's totally appropriate as well. So I'm just trying to break it kind of somewhere down the middle of both of those competing facts, I guess you could say.
Okay. I have a thought about rolling the meetings into the base versus keeping them separate like we've been. And here's my concern. A lot of times when people come to speak before council, a lot of their concern has to do with transparency. Why is the city not more transparent? And this can, just use a broad brush in your mind. It can apply to any number of circumstances. I would say, after thinking long and hard about it, I understand rolling it in, making it easier, but I like the idea of accountability. I like the idea of being transparent and saying, yeah, I really did attend that meeting. Now, I'm not positive, but I believe most of them are still by Zoom at this point. So I'm not sure there's a lot of having to go places. Now that may change over the next year, and truthfully, I hope it does. So I agree with you, Ford. This should be something that's constantly on the Salary Commission's radar in terms of checking in and seeing what the current status of things are. I kind of like at this point, though, because we've got a serious budget concern in the city. I like the idea of still having everybody account for what they've done. Yes, they're only getting paid for 4. We know that. So they don't have to write them all down. They only have to write down 4 if that's the number that they want to get paid for. That's my thought at this point. Commissioner Bean, have you got any thoughts to add?
No, I mean, I agree. I'm looking at the information that we received showing how many meetings Dixon Ewing, Jorstad, and Peter Hagen attended. And my question is there's a column that says assigned paid. So are those the meetings that are automatically paid if they attend, and the extra meetings unpaid, are those the ones that are included in the 4 additional that they submit?
Okay,
You
one more
know?
time, ask the question for me one more time, please.
So I'm looking at the final page that was sent to us today, and there's a table that says assigned paid, extra unpaid, and then grand total. So where do those 4 fit in? Are they already assigned paid, or those the extra unpaid that are required, those additional 4?
Anya,
The way I read it
put
is,
on this?
yeah, the extra unpaid is all the meetings that just weren't paid. It was over the max of 4. That's how I read it. But if you want me to get any further clarification, I can. As far as assigned, I know a lot of them are assigned certain committees that they represent, and that's what the meetings that they go to. Like, for example, a couple of the council members are assigned for the Veterans Commission as the liaison, and some of them are the part of the Transportation Committee. So they have a certain assignments where they are part of certain committees, and that might be where those assigned paid. But if they're their max of 4, then everything else is unpaid.
And for clarification, I believe this represents the first 10 months of this year. So for example, if we look at Mary Dickinson, she is, if we divide 46 extra unpaid by 10, it's approximately 4.5 meetings per month. So she's probably going to her 4 plus another 4 to 5 on average a month. Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, that did. I mean, I
Okay.
tend to agree with what Ford was saying as well. I'm not so sure if rolling all 4 of those into the salary at this time is something that we should look at, because it doesn't give a lot of room for growth in the future unless we choose to go backwards once we get to a certain point. And I remember Angie saying something about once we increase it, then there is a different step we have to do to roll it back
Mhm.
if we choose to. So I guess, when I was looking at these numbers, and, right now it's 564 a month. If we rolled the 4 in, it would bring it up to 884 a month. If we only rolled 2 in, it would bring it up to 764 a month. So I'm not sure if that's something that the commission would want to look at rolling possibly 2 of those in, and then requiring the 2 per month if they choose to want to be paid for those additional 2. I'm not sure what the commission's thoughts on that is.
Okay, well, let's see. Commissioner Horde, we haven't heard from you. Do you have some thoughts?
I do. I have a hard time saying we have 5.7% in the budget to give a mayor a raise, and we can't even look at our city council. They are grossly underpaid. You look at any of the cities on that chart. I think we're doing a disservice to payroll by requiring people to submit their form. I think that's using other resources. On the data that we saw, everyone was at least claiming those 4. I think the best move is to do the 884. I would love to see a cost of living increase for them. I get we're running against budgetary issues, but it's hard for me to say we have money in the budget for one increase and do nothing for a subset of our population that serve our community. And that's an outreach that our community folks contact. So I would stay strong to roll in the 4 additional 4 meetings at $80 into the payment.
Okay, thank you. Miss Anya, could you refresh my memory? What was the percentage cost of living that we were using as a guidepost for the unrepresented staff?
5.67.
And what was it for represented?
It depends on each of their bargaining agreements. So right now we are in negotiations with one of our units. The other 2 units are maxed at 3% for 2022.
Okay, so the unionized or represented folks are getting 3%. And the non-union unrepresented folks are getting almost double.
Well, and this is
5.67.
proposed still. So this is under, it is going to public hearing tomorrow night, the budget is. So it could change. This is all proposed budget.
Okay. I did not realize that the disparity was about double, not quite double. Interesting. Okay. All right. So it looks like we've got 2 things to talk about. If you don't mind me breaking it down, and if I'm getting it wrong, somebody please jump in. It sounds like the first thing we want to do is look at the cost of living applied to council, which, by the way, I wasn't ruling out. I was just speaking in generalities. What is the general thought about applying that non-represented 5.67 to the base of council's 564? What is everyone's thought on that? Commissioner Bean?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Miss Horde.
It's okay. I would like to see it. I feel like it just, we're running under, and we want to make sure that our city folks have somebody that they can go to and talk to that are approachable. And I get it's a service community position, but I think I would like to see it. It doesn't need to be the full 5%, but I think it's what will need to be done to keep us competitive in our county.
Okay. Commissioner Bean, your thoughts?
No, I agree with that. I mean, even if we take their current salary of 564 and we add the 5.67% in, that's only an additional $31.98 per month, which would bring it up to $595.98 per month. That doesn't include rolling in the meetings. So if we rolled in the meetings, that would make it $915.98 per month for the city council, with the 4 meetings rolled in and the 5.67%.
Yes, I just checked your math. You're exactly right.
I will
Okay.
share a second. I'll share a second method of calculating that I just ran too, just so you guys have food for thought, is rolling the meetings in first and then applying the 5.67 comes out to 934.12. So not a big difference, but 15.
Well, right, that's because the meetings would then have an almost 6% on top of it. Right.
Right.
Okay, so it sounds like, let's hear from Commissioner Poston. If you want to weigh in on this, please.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. I think we're getting to the place I kind of was thinking about in a little bit different route. But yeah, I think this all makes sense. And I think the increase is appropriate. And if you, as you were mentioning earlier, if you leave the meetings as still, you got to apply for them. I mean, I think it's still cumulatively, the number sounds about right as what I'm thinking. I mean, for some reason, somewhere around 11, 12,000 a year or $1,000 a month, however you want to look at it, I think sounds appropriate. And by leaving the meetings as something you apply for, I guess it does leave a level of transparency, or, putting the onus on each individual to make sure they're going to, the meetings and doing the right things. Then yeah, I think that number ends up at the right place. So all of that sounds right to me.
Okay, so if I can summarize, and again, if I get this wrong, please jump in. It sounds like everyone is in favor of at least starting with taking the 564 and adding the 5.67 cost of living increase, which then brings it to 595 and 97 cents. And I would humbly request that we just round it up 3 cents to 596.
Yep.
If that would be okay with everybody. Are we all in agreement on that?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
Then the next question becomes the meetings. Now, we've had some discussion that says, let's just roll it in and give it to them. We've had some discussion that says, well, let's go ahead and allow them to claim the 4, but let's keep the transparency and have them actually claim it. Because if we look at the information that Ms. Anya provided to us, some council members are not requesting payment for the additional meetings. So for whatever reason, we don't know, we haven't spoken to them. I haven't anyway. So let's talk a moment about the meetings themselves, keeping them separate, rolling them in. Further discussion on that? I'm in favor of allowing them to claim them. Commissioner Poston, I think that's what I just heard you say. Commissioner Bean, what say you?
I agree.
Allow them
Allow
to
them to
request it?
request it. Yeah. It does,
Okay.
it does have a sense of accountability. It does hold them accountable to make sure they at least attend those meetings to receive that reimbursement for that. I do think that that's a really good decision.
Okay. Okay. And Commissioner Horde, additional thoughts on this?
I am in favor of the transparency and having them claim them.
Okay. All right. So then I think we are at the point now. Please jump in, Miss Anya. I think we are at the point where I believe we have a consensus of which way we should go. And if I may summarize, and again, if I get it incorrect, please jump in, that we are in favor of raising the 564 base by the 5.67% cost of living, and then rounding up an additional 3 cents for a round number of $596. And then allowing them to also continue to claim the 4 meetings at $80 each. Being that as our consensus, as I understand it at this point, I believe we now have to have a public meeting in order to then have a vote to make it official. Am I correct in our procedure?
Yes, we will need to schedule a public hearing to allow citizens to come and comment And then after the public hearing, you guys will make a motion to publish the salary schedule with the clerk.
Okay,
So what we will do is we will just put this information in the hearing notice and in the meeting information packet.
okay. So how long does it take for us to schedule a public hearing?
Well, typically, so with our ordinance, the salary is effective 30 days after filing by the commission. So we want to schedule it as close to like December, first week of December, so it's effective January 1st. To bring up the calendar, and for a public hearing, we just need 10-day notice
Okay,
for the Herald.
10 days. So it sounds like if everybody can pull out their calendar, I think we're at that point, are we not? Oh,
Yeah.
excuse me, one moment. I've got to grab mine. Okay,
I'm
so,
looking at like December, first week of December.
okay,
If we do it December 2nd, then we can have you sign it on the 3rd. It would be effective at the right time. Or we could probably have it earlier in that week and have you sign it, wait to sign it on the 3rd and file it.
okay. What does everybody's calendar look like for the last 2 days of November or the first 2 days of December? Does anybody have any conflicts? Are we running up against any council meeting or any other scheduled meetings, Anya?
Just Tuesday nights.
Okay,
Thursday, the
So-
2nd works for me.
Yeah, I'm open the 2nd.
okay, great. Commissioner Horde, are you open on the 2nd?
Yes.
Okay, and I will make myself available on December 2nd as well. So that's Thursday, December 2nd at, would it be 6 p.m.?
That works for everybody.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, so Thursday, 12/2/21 at 6 p.m. That will be our public hearing.
And is that via Zoom
Yes,
or is that in person? Oh,
yep.
Can I just get some clarification too on the mayor's, so I calculate the right annual salary? I'm taking the 5.67% off the annual salary. I'm getting 84,536. I mean, sorry, I'm
I'm-
looking at the wrong, oh, hold on.
Yeah,
That was the old one.
that is the old one.
114, 123.60.
114, 123.60. What's the current, hang on one second, I can answer my own question. Currently, we are at 108, correct?
Right.
Times 1.0567. Yes, 114,123.60 is what I get. Anybody get a different calculation?
nope.
Okay. I believe then that would be a correct number, Miss Anya. I think we can run with that.
Okay.
All right, very good. I do not have anything else on our agenda to discuss for tonight. Does anyone else have any new business or information that needs to be discussed? Nope, seeing none. In that case, let me just double check. Miss Anya, is there anything else that we need to discuss before we adjourn?
No, I believe that's it. Thank you,
Okay.
everybody.
Wonderful. So in that case, may I please have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Wonderful. And a second?
I second.
Thank you. We have a motion to adjourn and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you all so much for attending. Really appreciate your input and your comments. Be safe and well until we meet again, scheduled for Thursday, December 2nd at 6 p.m.
Sounds great.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you all. Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.